This is the latest Loongson 3A6000 CPU. You can see the logo is not Intel inside, AMD inside. It is called by Loongson. And we got the SS Taiwanese DVD-ROM and all kind of Chinese parts. This is the 3A6000 under the big fan and 7A2000 bridge chipset, and here is the Great Wall SATA SSD and the unit IC Chinese RAM, and double 16 gig times 2, so it's the 32 gig RAM, so it's very big enough. And with the 7A2000 bridge chipset, the chipset also integrates the LG110 GPU by Loongson, and here is the Glowway SATA SSD as well, so it's 240 gig, so it's pure Chinese SS DVD-ROM. As I said, because the case I bought, the case didn't have the DVD-ROM position, so I used back my 3A4000 CPU's old case, and we got this kind of gift by the Loongson, and with a pen and with the Chinese Communist Party, those kind of style to serve the people. So I love Chinese communism. I love communism and I love Communism Party. And here you can see the NVMe. I bought it. Also Chinese G-Type 512 gig and SSD. Okay, here is the NVMe M2 and it's 3500 Mbps for the reading speed, which is very fast, and X stacking. So now it's the Loongson 3A6000. And so we got the 7A2000 as I said, and running the loongnix system, and the GPU also by Loongson LG110. You see it, right? And this is a CPU Loongson running at the 2.5 GHz, 4-core and 8-core hyper-threading, 7A2000 with the LG110 GPU, and 7A2000 controller for the bridge chipset, DDR4 3200 32 gig unit IC, G-Type SATA SD, Glowway SATA SSD, and a Great Wall SATA SSD. The G-Type is not the SATA, it's NVMe. And monitor Guangzhou Honda Chai, and iGoje keyboard and mouse. So 100% all the parts, GPU, CPU, RAM, SSD, all etc. Chinese. And the 7-zip running the result is 20,000 over something, so it's very high. The level is already reaching Intel 10 generation i3 10000F, those kind of level. But now I'm trying to test it for the pressure test to open, executing a lot of Word documents, PPT, Excel, and PowerPoint, etc. with playing the videos, games, and simultaneously, concurrently, to test whether it runs smoothly and the occupation of the CPU and RAM and memory. So it's so fast, very smooth, you can see it. And I tell you what, the most important thing is this, because under Americans' sanction, the USA sanction, it only has the 12 nanometer. So the nanometer is a little bit high comparing to Intel under 10 or 7 nanometer. So it only runs at the 2.5 gigahertz with 12 nanometer. So if comparing with the Intel now running at 3.5 GHz to 4 GHz, so now 2.5 GHz is already equal to the 4 GHz level. So if comparing to the same frequency at 2.5 GHz for the IPC performance, it is already the same level of this generation of Intel's 13th generation of Intel's i3's CPU's level. So this is very unprecedented already. And I think it's around 3 years falling behind of Intel, AMD, and maximum is only 5 years. So I think 5 years later, the Loongson will be the real competitor to the Intel and AMD. So now you can see very smooth and opening a lot of applications, software, office jobs, office applications, also running so well. I think it's just the IPC is very, very high. The 386 can search on the internet. There are a lot of information about the performance. I think it's already very, very strong enough. Now trying to test the 1080p 4 or 5 videos simultaneously with the previous applications, office applications I have opened, and now trying to run to see whether it is very smooth and enough power to handle it. You can see now it's handling very well. It's comparing to my 6 or 7 years ago Intel server Xeon level, the E3-1230V3, that kind of server Xeon CPU is also the same level for the 8 cores. That kind of level is 7 GB. The mark is the same, 20,000 around. So it's very high level. And you can see this is the running not x86 instruction set. Remember, it's the loongnix instruction set, is the new instruction set invented by Loongson. So starting from 3A5000, they started to use the loongnix instruction set is new architecture. Before 3A4000, 3A3000, using the long ISA, Longxia, compatible with MIPS, MIPS MIPS. Before they used it, now use the new instruction set loongnix. And starting from 3A5000, they use the binary translation, but it is dynamic binary translation, which can translate the x86 ARM instruction set, the MIPS, etc. to a loongnix instruction set, so that the x86 ARMs, those kind of softwares can also run on the loongnix, the Loongson 3A6000 CPU, by binary translation via the LAT binary translator, which is by default integrated into this loongnix 20.5 version system, the Loongnix Linux system. The Loongnix Linux system already having the LAT binary translator. The dynamic translator is that while you are executing the application, the binary translator that time translate the application, so it's a little bit lagging, maybe costing 5 to 20% max for the performance degree. So at least they can use it, even the performance is down a little bit, but already very great. Now we can see testing the 1080p, no problem, opening so many, you can see very, very smooth already. and also very smooth. And for the Rosettas, like Apple's one is using the static binary translation. So before the installation, so while they install the application, they translate it from ARM to x86, from x86. It is to say from x86 to ARM, and after installation, when they installed the software onto the computer and they just execute it, open it, and it is already for the ARM, the new M3 Max M2 for running the x86 already installed. There is the ARM. The ARM CPUs can read it, so they don't need to translate while opening the software, so which is much faster. And the Loongson is also researching this kind of method, and now they are researching and doing the same path of the Rosetta. So now it's running dynamic, and later we will have the static as well. They are researching. I think in the future 1 or 2 years they will have it. And Loongson is not using the software binary translation. They use the Loongson. The loongnix is the hardware plus the software simultaneously together. So both software and hardware, which is much better and very versatile and very, compatibility is much higher. So I think it's very good. And they use the LAT, and the x86 is the latex, LAT and X, using the latex. And also you can also run the Windows application software as well, as like by using the WINE, WINE, the WINE API. So the x86 can use the WINE, and the API can run the Linux application as well. So now I'm open the website, also very smooth. And because the WINE, they can run the Windows applications by using the API of the Linux, so they can run using the DLL and those kind of adjusting the DLL. So the Linux also run the Windows application and software. So the logic is that the x86 Windows software, both 64-bit and 32-bit, no problem. They just first using the API for the Windows API's DLL, and then you to make it to Linux by using the API. Now you can see the Loongson GPU is the LG110. I'm playing the game. Okay, come back to the WINE API, and then after the Linux API using, and they will use the LAT by using the LAT by the Loongson, and binary translate the x86 Windows API's stuff back to loongnix instruction set, so that the Loongson CPU can run the x86 Windows x86 software, no problem. So we got the Windows software, and Linux x86 software will directly run it by the binary translation by the latex already, and very easy, right? And don't need to go through the Windows API adjustment, don't need to go through the WINE. So the logic is like that. And now I'm playing the game, you can see very smooth, but the problem is, and we got a 20 to 30 FPS frame per second. The problem is some kind of software and driver is not so mature, so you can see the ground is transparent, and the raw some kind of combination, and the pictures and also the square, those kind of things are transparent, not the solid one. And those kind of picture and rendering are still under development. So That's the only drawback. And this game, no problem. The ground is solid, no transparent, and no art stuff, no kind of art pictures. And this game is okay. So I'm trying to have the other games like gpu also running the Loongson LG110. As you can see, the GPU, it is the integrated one. I think sooner or later we'll make a Chinese. The strongest one is the JM 9230 by Jinjiao Micro Gemo IC, and also the more threat MTT S80, also the strongest GPU, strongest 3D card. I will match it, and sooner or later, if the kernel is stronger, the kernel is higher, 5.4, I can buy this Chinese strongest 3D card to match it. And Loongson also will release the our AMD RX 550 levels GPUs, and not GPU, is the independent 3D card next year, or by the Q1 or Q2 2025. You will have the Loongson independent 3D card, and next year 2024 they will go to the processing the card to the chipset maker. So it is very smooth already, and then sooner or later we'll see the compatible with the driver. So I will buy the new Chinese Morphet MTT S80 or JM 9230 strongest 3D card to match this computer. Now the integrated LG110 is just okay, and not strong for enough, not strong enough for playing all those kind of games. You can see some kind of lagging, so need to match a best Chinese GPU, and it is already very smooth already. And comparing to Intel AMD, we don't need to use Intel AMD or those kind of CPU GPU, nvidia AMD. We don't need to use ATI, those kind of things now. It's very with the Chinese CPU now, it's very strong enough. Because this is the hardware binary translation, so that is much faster than the QEMU, the Code emulator, just 5% of the performance after translating. So it's very, very slow comparing to Code. Code is so slow because it's pure software emulator. This loongnix LAT binary translator is both hardware and software integrated in this system automatically. And while you need to install it by yourself, the Windows API and to Linux API adjustment. So now I'm trying to directly execute the x64 x86 software. Now you can see running the Lattice 64 virtual CPU, and this is the x64 software, x86 software already running successfully. So the 7-zip is around 10,000 something mod, so the performance for sure is not so great as the loongnix original Linux loongnix testing for the 7-zip. 7-zip running at the 20,000 over mark, but here just just 10,000 something mark for the translation. After translation, running the x86 Linux software, so the performance not so ideal, but sometimes some kind of software will be very good, maybe 5% difference only for the performance degrees. So it depends, and they are still improving. So I think the billion future, and running this kind of software, we just the dot run software, we just change the AMD from AMD 64 to a loongnix 64, and can run the software as well.
And here also on the control we change to AMD 64 to longer 64 this instruction set. By changing that, you can execute the Debian package. So you will see me with other videos telling you about how to run the applications, x86 Linux application, that package, Debian package, those kind of things as well. You just refer to my previous videos I have taken, and now you can see running successfully for all those kind of software, the Linux x86 software. Okay, so trying to test the SQL client by Huawei successfully, right? Executing. I just changed from AMD 64 to Loongx 64 in the file directly, and then execute the .run, and then now executed it and successfully opened it. And this package tracer Cisco, also x86 Linux software, is the Debian package. And another way is to open it is to unzip all the folders, including all the files and subfolders, and then just copy them all to the corresponding system folders and subfolders, and then you can directly run it on the system. Or you just don't copy and just unzip all the things and unzip the folders and try to go inside the folders and find the executable file, file, and then run it also okay, but just copy to the system so that next time you can be more convenient and easier to execute it again on the system directory. So successfully trying those kind of x86 native software on this Loongx instruction set, also okay, right? By those kind of methods. And you can also pack the Debian package, the Deb package, repack it, and to execute it and run it using dpkg/i to install it as well. So there are several methods. You can just refer to my previous videos I've taken, and then you will know how to install them. Okay. And now I'm trying to run it and demonstrate the Q for while is the management to manage the while application API. So it's very easy to use. Just install it, and the while you can install it on this system, and then you can run the Windows application on this Linux. And the Linux API, the Windows API will have the API the Linux can run. Okay, so now I try to see the things, the softwares, download the things on the Linux folders. You can just explore inside the Explorer, explore it, and then you can just like the normal Windows computer, because they are just emulating it, right? Okay, successfully run this kind of thing. Sometimes or some kind of softwares may not successfully run, but mostly over 90% can be okay. But now I'm trying to execute those kind of softwares already 20 years ago, those kind of old softwares when I was an IT technician that time. So I now don't have much Windows files to test, so I just test the old files. Now still running okay, and install it okay or successfully, but sometimes you cannot execute it successfully. So like this case, right, failed because it's the 10 years overturned 15 years ago that those kind of old software. So now I'm trying to download the new Windows software to test it again. Okay, after downloading it, I will just browse it, like the Linux download on the Linux download folder. Now trying to search it and execute this kind of file to see whether I can be okay. It can be okay for running on this Loongx instruction set performance Loongson system. Okay. So the ecosystem is very abundant. Running successfully, right? Running now. But the most important thing is this: the Loongson director, the CEO, Hu Weiwu said that this binary translation technology, and it's just for passing by. It's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to build the Loongson self ecosystem software all by Loongson instruction set, not relying on x86 Windows software or ARM Linux software, because it's not good enough. It's not good, right? And we need to build the own Loongson ecosystem, all kind of softwares running natively with Loongson. Okay. And this binary translation when translating the MIPS MIPS will be almost 100% performance. Won't have any performance logs, because the instruction set is similar to the Loongson, because they have been using the MIPS and non-ISA for years, several years, 10 years over. So, and they develop their own Loongson, maybe based on the MIPS as well. So now try to open the 7-zip Linux files or x86 Windows executable file already also successfully opened, and the WinZip successfully trying. Everything is good. So the Windows software we got, and Linux x86 softwares we got. So we got abundant softwares, and the ecosystem is very abundant. So now that this Loongson system is very good, and before you couldn't think of it, because when I was using the 3A4000, we didn't have enough software at that time, just natively using the 3A4000 MIPS or long ISA software only. Now I'm trying to, when you install the software successfully via the wire for the Windows applications, they will place all the icons on the loongnix OS, just like the native Linux software. So you can see directly click it on the desktop, you can open it. Won't open the Q4Y as well. So now open the Ultima Online successfully. This is the Windows game. The Windows game when I was very young, 14 years old, and in 1996, 1997, I used to play this game. So now, that time I'm running the Intel Pentium 2 667 MHz. Is very slow with the 56K modem, dial-up modem, to play this game with 16 or 32 meg RAM, not gig. Now it's gig. So it's very meaningful, right, for me. Now running the Chinese 100% Chinese CPU, Loongnix OS, Chinese OS, Chinese CPU, Chinese GPU, LG110, and Chinese all kind of SSD, NVMe, all Chinese internet, running the game successfully, which is very heartbreaking, and also translating is very fast. And Loongson also having this kind of like app store, so you can download the apps on this store, searching a lot of things. Before we didn't have WeChat and QQ, no more software before. When 3A4000 with the long ISA instruction set, now using the Loongson, we have the binary translation, LaTeX. So now we can have the Windows versions, WeChat, and the Linux x86 QQ as well. So there are abundant software that you can choose. There's also Windows software, the NetEase music player. Now I'm running successfully, and then can listen to the music as well, and very smooth, and you can see translating maybe a little bit slower, you can feel it, but already usable, because it's the under binary translation by nutx, simultaneously translating. This is the dynamic translation. Hope that they will have the static translation. While installation, they translate it, and after installation, they don't need to translate it, just execute the files directly. Already can use the ROM card to run it, the ROM card CPU to run it. Now is translating, so still okay, usable. Before, no more software. Now, and this app store, this store is very good. They just pack all the Windows file directly, or x86 Linux native, those kind of software directly onto the menu, and they will automatically run the while WINE, the while API to adjust to Linux API, and they can connect the API together automatically, so that you don't need to run the while by yourself, and run the while automatically, and they will run the LaTeX binary translator automatically at both automatically, those automatically inside this kind of store. So convenient now. And x86, Windows x86, ARM, those kind of software sooner or later also have. And now also having the Debian package installers, which is very convenient. Just directly open it and drag it and pull it onto this package installer, so that you can install it